Okay, what you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. I left a link to that in the live chat and also the description below. So you're posting a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, another live stream. I'm going to talk you through what's happening in the charts today and see if you've got any opportunities coming up. So I'm going to start with gold. Okay, so with gold today, it looks like, again, with this one, we're still kind of just moving sideways really on the 4-hourly time frame. Again, on my weekly analysis, I drew the kind of our box like that sort of for gold. Right now, we're moving sideways. Probably I'm favouring price to break to the downside for gold to contest this level here. But right now, we're kind of just moving sideways here on the 4-hourly time frame. We are sort of trending to the upside for gold right now. If we dive to the 1-hourly time frame, you can see we're sort of trending to the upside of the higher highs and the higher lows here in the market and the push up. Right now, we're definitely pushed to the upside. It looks like we're forming some wicks to the upside. So I'll probably expect to see some retrace to the downside for gold on the hourly time frame to the downside potentially. To retrace the big push to the upside that we've had recently. Prices come and test that 4-hourly resistance up there. It's failed to break it a couple of times there on the 4-hourly chart. You can see on the hourly it's contested there, rejected all the way back down. Didn't quite test it there, but is showing signs that is getting rejected from generally that area in the market. And it's looking like we could be seeing potentially price kind of roll over a little bit for gold and see a push to the downside. There's a possibility we could go up to go and test it again, maybe one or twice more before we do see gold give us a move to the downside. But I do think we could be on our way back down for gold to go and test the support down there if we can break through some key levels. But right now I do think we can see a move to the downside for gold. But be aware we might see a push up first, another wick to the upside into that resistance before we do get that move back to the downside for gold down the hourly time frame. But from a 4-hour perspective, again, we're kind of still trapped in that consolidation area between that support down there and the resistance up there, kind of just moving sideways. So again, we could break out either direction, break to the upside. I think we could be coming to like 1900 level around there. Got some support there, got a gap in the market there, and acting as resistance there as well. And if it breaks to the downside, could be seeing a nice move into the support all the way down there, or even further, potentially create another lower low there in the market for gold. But right now, the bigger picture is right now we are consolidating, but could be seeing a move to the downside for gold. But be aware we might come up for another retest of that resistance first before we do get a move back down again. Because right now, again, a lot of wicks or to either side, just kind of a lot of indecision in the market, and could see that breakout to the downside and another leg to go and test that support down there for gold. So I hope that analysis helped for gold there on the hourly and that 4-hourly time frame. But we are starting to look like we could be turning over to the downside for that pair. AUD/USD for this one, again, right now we are slowly trending to the downside here on the 4-hourly chart. You can see we are making lower highs in the market and lower lows as well. We did break through a key level of support last week. As you can see, we broke through it, came back up, kind of retested it, broke back underneath it. Now we are retesting that same level as resistance. As you can see, support, support, support. Now retesting as resistance. So it could be seeing further movement to the downside for AUD/USD, but as you can see, the price action overall, if you look at the bigger picture, is quite unclear in this area. Just a lot of indecision really. Did see a really nice move to the downside, expect some retracing further moving to the downside, so this could just be some retrace. But right now we are kind of just moving sideways really for AUD/USD, but we do have some strong resistance just above us. So I'm probably favouring further continuation to the downside, create another lower low, maybe go and test this support that we have down here, which gave us this move to the upside. So really key level of support down there. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were to have another leg to the upside first to go and create another lower high around about here. As you can see, got those lower highs there, and the market could create another one there before we do get the longer move to the downside. That is still very much a possibility with AUD/USD. But as you can see right now, from a 4-hour perspective, it's a little bit unclear. But again, if that resistance does hold, we could see another leg to the downside to go and test the support here before we start to see any major pushes back up again. But overall, AUD/USD there is kind of just moving sideways really, but could see price slowly leak to the downside. That is possible. If we do get back above that support might see another push to the upside to create a little high before we see price fall over to the downside there. Euro USD looking bearish here. Again, a bit of a choppy market right now on the daily. It just looks like consolidation really. But as you can see, we are slowly trending to the downside really. Looks like we're breaking through that support there. Again, really key level of support, numerous wicks into this level. And then we've had that close below. Again, it's not the, hasn't closed by many pips, but still closed below, and could be seeing that momentum take us down to go and test this support area here in the market. Maybe we break through this support, again, not too sure. Need to see how the momentum is looking when we get to that level, because again, it is a very key level of support in the market. If I take this along here, you can see it provided support here as well. Really nice push to the upside there for Euro USD. So again, it is a key level of support. Not sure if it will break it. Might take a couple attempts to go and break through that level, but right now we are looking bearish there for Euro USD, and if that momentum does continue, I probably do expect price to go and test the support down there and create another push to the downside for that pair, because again, very strong bearish candle. Probably see that momentum continue. Might see a little bit of retrace first in the lower time frames, but probably I'm thinking for price to continue to the downside for Euro USD there. USD CAD, again, not too sure if this one will come into a really key level of prior resistance there in the market. As you can see, a very strong move to the downside. Looks like price is basically consolidating now in the hourly time frame. Could be seeing a break to the upside or to the downside really. But again, I'm probably favouring a push to the upside for USD CAD because we're starting to make some higher highs in the market here. As you can see, we had this consolidation all across here. Price broke to the upside, creating some higher highs. Looks like it's retesting some areas of former resistance turn support. Could be seeing another leg to the upside to go and test that key level of resistance there in the market. And yeah, I do agree, we could be seeing some nice opportunities coming up for a lot of pairs in the market, because again, a lot of January was consolidation. I mean, USD CAD is an example, just push back up again. So a lot of consolidation now, and maybe we can actually see USD CAD start trending to the upside potentially, and start giving some nice long opportunities for this pair. I do think we could be seeing a push to the upside, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see a push down first before we do get a move back up again. But I think the longer move for USD CAD is still to the upside for this pair. You can see on the hourly time frame, big push to the upside recently this morning, and I do think we could see that momentum continue us to the upside and go and test 1.29, which is all the way up there. Yeah, still think GP is still looking bullish here. So if I take a look at GPCHF, again, still looking very bullish. It has broken through some key levels actually. Well, again, it's the daily candle here, so it hasn't closed yet, but we do have a really key level of resistance through this level here. Probably I'm favouring price to retrace, could be coming back down to retest that support. But again, it is the daily candle, still got 12 hours left before that candle closes. There's a possibility you could see that candle pull all the way back down and just give us a wick to the upside. But we are currently breaking through a key level of resistance. I do think eventually though, we probably will break through this resistance and see GBCHF continue a lot higher. Again, that's from a higher time frame point of view, like the weekly. I do think we will break to the upside and probably come and test this support area here in the market. This area here, I do think we'll come and test that. But again, we'll probably see some bearish opportunities before eventually price gets there. But right now we are looking very bullish in the hourly time frame. But yeah, just gonna have to wait for those confirmations to short this pair right now, because we are looking very bullish here. But again, could be seeing a retracement for this pair coming back into that previous area of resistance turn support. And again, this could just be a forced breakout, so we could see price come to the downside quite sharply potentially. But we are looking very bullish here for GPCHF, so watch out for that. Same thing for GPJPY. Looking very bullish here, breaking through that form of resistance there on the daily time frame. Very strong move to the downside, and then a big push back up again. But again, very choppy, but suddenly gained some momentum. GBJPY, as you can see, was moving very choppy there. As you can see, the past 4 or 5 days kind of gained some momentum, and price is looking very bullish there on GBJPY. So could be seeing some pullbacks for this pair since we've had this big push to the upside there on the daily. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 consecutive bullish candles there. Could be seeing some retracement now back into a former area of resistance. Key level resistance down here and obviously down here as well. So could be seeing a bit of retracement now for this pair. Of course, we can still push on if price remains bullish, but I do think some retracement is due for GBJPY. Could be coming today or maybe tomorrow even, but again, probably a pair to watch out for if you do get some strong bearish price action there for GBPCHF. And yeah, that is true. To be fair, it is a very very big bullish candle, and normally could see them get retraced very easily. That is true. But again, you just have to wait for those confirmations, because again, it's very bullish at the moment in time. If you do start to see some strong bearish candles coming back into the market on like the hourly or the 4-hourly, that could be a sign that it's a forced breakout, and could see price really come back to the downside and just catch people on the wrong side of the market. Because again, a lot of people just see that, start buying right now because it's broken through that resistance, and they'll start buying the market there. So could see the market reverse on them and see a big push back down again, but just gotta wait for price to shift to bearish market, because right now it is still bullish on the hourly and the 4-hourly time frames for that pair. CAD-JPY right now, this one is still consolidating. We're currently right now testing the resistance of the market though. If you can see, if I zoom out, so you've got the support down there, got the resistance up there. Price right now is testing that same resistance for a third time right now, and is showing signs that it's getting rejected as well. So it could be seeing push to the downside for CAD-JPY. I do think that is possible, since we rejected it once, second time, currently rejecting it a third time, seeing a couple of wicks into that area. And if you do get a nice move to the downside, it could be coming back all the way to the support, and actually maybe even see a breakout of this consolidation, and see price maybe even further and go and test this key area of support here. And support 3 times there will be support here as well. So could be seeing price break through that level and come test this next level down there for CAD-JPY. So right now, probably waiting for some bit more bearish signals for a move back to the downside. But CAD-JPY is looking like the momentum is slowing to the downside, and could be seeing another push lower for that pair. And again, you can see on the daily is just consolidating really there in the market. Next, going to take a look at GBCAD. Now, GBCAD recently we saw a big push to the upside, as you can see in the daily chart. Past 3 days, big push to the upside, breaking through this resistance here in the market, and we are still kind of looking bullish for this pair. I do think the bigger movement is still to the upside for GBCAD. I do think we could become up to around 1.77 or maybe even further. But again, could be seeing some pullbacks first for this pair back into this level of previous resistance then support. So might see this impulsive bearish moves to the downside, retrace a little bit, continue to the downside, go and test this level, and then maybe continue back up again once we tested this level down there. But again, price here, it kind of just moves sideways a little bit. I do think we could see another push to the downside first before we could be on our way back up for GBCAD. Take a look at ADJPY. ADJPY 4-hourly time frame a little bit unclear. Daily again looks like we're just moving sideways there, a bit of consolidation really. So again, not too sure for this one. We did see a price do a nice move to the downside. It is creating some lower lows there in the market. If you look at the 3 past major lows, and that's lower, that's lower, that's lower. So we are sort of trending to the downside here for ADJPY. So could see price roll over and give us another leg to the downside again. So that's probably the move that I'm favouring rather than back up again. And this big move here was probably like a false move, a false breakout really, because as you can see, big push to the upside. Next move came crashing right back down. So probably a bit of a false move there. Could be seeing price roll over to the downside again for ADJPY. Potentially coming back to the same support here, or maybe coming to form another low there in the market. Really key level of support here, which kind of gave us the move back to the highs again we'll create new highs there for ADJPY. So could be seeing a move, another swing to the downside if we were to continue this overall bearish trend here in the market. Hourly again still looking a bit bearish there. So yeah, I am favouring a move to the downside there for ADJPY. Could be seeing a longer move into that support there, which is probably the more possible option for me. But again, it is consolidating down the daily, so not overly too confident about that pair, because again, it is a very choppy pair right now. Next, we're going to take a look at NZD/USD. Now, NZD/USD, again, for this one, a little bit like AUD/JPY right now, we're probably just consolidating really. You can see on the daily chart just moving sideways. For hourly, we saw a big move to the downside, got rejected from that same support there, came back up again, didn't quite come back to the same resistance up there, so it is showing prices losing momentum earlier on, and you're starting to see price run over to the downside. But again, not too sure for NZD/USD. Hourly, it looks like we're coming bearish again and could be seeing another push back to the downside for this pair, back into this support, maybe break through that support. Could see price coming back all the way to the lows there for NZD/USD, or maybe even further if price wants to create another lower low there in the market. But right now, I would say probably the move is to the downside as well, just because we're failing to create the high there. But again, from a daily point of view, looks like we're just consolidating really. So again, not overly convinced about this pair right now. We're kind of just moving sideways for NZD/USD. But if you do break through key levels of support like this one here, I think the clear move is to the downside to go and test the support down there. I'll probably even break through that support and come and test this key level here around 0.7 for NZD/USD, key level support there. As you can see, we tested it once, twice, third, fourth time. So break through that support, could be on our way here, and we'll probably start to see a bit more of a reversal for this pair. Because the past few weeks and month or so, we've been in a very strong bullish trend, so it could be starting to retrace that for NZD/USD soon. But right now, looking a little bit bearish here. Could be seeing a move into that support, break through that support, could be coming to go and test the lows down there for that pair. Next, we'll take a look at GP/NZD. Now, GP/NZD, I'll start with the daily for this one, because again, daily I would say we're looking bullish. A little bit unclear since price is struggling to break through this resistance here in the market, but we are still looking bullish, I would say. Still very probably GP/NZD to give us another push higher to the upside for that pair. For hourly, however, is looking a little bit unclear as well. We did have a strong push to the downside towards the end of the week last week, but then we gapped up. Now price is kind of just moving a little bit sideways. You can see an hourly push down, back up again. A little bit unclear for GP/NZD. Maybe if you were to get another push to the downside, back to go and test the support, and if we were to hold, could be seeing price come back up again to go test the highs. But right now, it's a bit unclear GP/NZD, especially with the current price action there. Hourly looking bullish there, but again, higher time frames is telling me, such that the daily is telling me we're going up. So again, my overall bias is probably to the upside, so could be seeing another move back down before we see the longer move to the upside, because price action here is not really showing big signs of being bullish right now. So could be seeing another move back down again for that pair. You see we do have a little bit of a trend line here as well in the market. Maybe see it move to the downside because of that trend line there, and then see price have a bigger push to the upside. But right now it is looking quite unclear for GP/NZD. Next, we're going to take a look at AUD/CAD. Now, AUD/CAD, we did see a push to the downside, a very strong push to the downside towards the end of the last week. As you can see, price was up here and just shot all the way to the downside, creating some new lows there in the market. We did come into this area, very strong area of support in the market. We did kind of gap down and then test that support and then pushed straight to the upside. As you can see, really key level of support here in the market. Big push up again, retrace, big push up again there. Tapped into the area, could be seeing a bit of a retrace for AUD/CAD, but overall we are looking very bearish here. If I jump to the daily, you can see very strong bearish candle there to the downside, but overall AUD/CAD is quite a very choppy pair. Doesn't have the cleanest moves in the market, so a little bit unclear, but again, very strong area of support for AUD/CAD, so could be seeing a bigger retrace to the upside for that pair. Yeah, I'll take a look at USD/JPY. I haven't done USD/JPY just yet. USD/JPY still looking bullish here. We did break to the upside past this resistance here. We did find some resistance here towards the end of last week. saw a nice bearish candle coming back down. Price found some support and now is retesting that same area of resistance. So possibility of maybe having a double top there on the hourly time frame, testing it once, consolidating a little bit, moving sideways, pushing back up, retesting it. And if you see some strong bearish candles coming back down, could be seeing USDJPY start to give us a strong push to the upside. From a daily point of view, I still believe you do have room to the upside to go and test this level here around 105. 300 around about there, really key level of resistance, which saw price kind of push to the downside, creating these lows down there. I still think from a daily point of view we could be coming there, but obviously you might see some retrace first before we do push to the upside there. So again, just need to wait for those confirmations, because if we do break through this resistance here, we could be on our way to go and test that daily target. But if we do start to see some strong reversal signs here, we could just be having a double top, see price come back to the downside, could be seeing price coming back to retest this key level of resistance here in the market. As you can see, test it once there, test it again there, we'll be acting as support. So it could be seeing a retrace into this level, and then price continues up higher from a daily point of view, because daily again still looking very bullish right now. So could be seeing that continue first, but again, very strong move to the upside we've had for USDJPY, so do expect to see some retracement for USD first before we continue higher for that pair. Yeah, for me as well, I think again I have a bullish bias as well for USDJPY, so again not really looking to short this pair. And again, from a daily point of view, it still looks like we could be on our way up. So again, probably just might not be the setup to take for you. Probably just look for elsewhere, for a different setup to take if you're not fully confident about looking to short this one. So yeah, could just miss it out. But again, if we do get some strong confirmations, it could just mean that we're going to have a bit of a double top and see price push lower first before overall USD becomes bullish again, and seeing a big push to the upside. That could be the case. But looking at other USD pairs, it still looks like USD is strong, like AU still looking like USD strong, USD still looking USD strong as well. So USD is bullish against a lot of the other pairs, and it does look like we could be seeing that continue for a little bit longer first. But of course, USD is against USDJPY is against JPY, which again does move quite similar. So that's why we get that kind of choppy movement here. But as you can see right now, USD is the stronger pair against JPY. I do think that could continue to go and test that resistance. So again, I won't be surprised if that resistance does break, but if it holds, we could be seeing a retracement first before eventually price does continue to the upside for that pair. Next, we'll take a look at GPUSD. Now for GPUSD, I'm currently still in a short trade for this one. This one right now has just been consolidating for the past few days really. I got in earlier in the market, but since then it's just consolidated. Hasn't really gone against me, hasn't gone for me either. Again, clear support area there in the market, clear resistance there in the market. If we do see a break to the upside, we'll probably see price just continue a lot higher. At that point, probably look to exit my trade as well. But if you do see a break of this support, could be seeing a move into this area in the market and start to see some deeper retrace for this pair and a bigger move to the downside, because again we are due some retrace for GPUSD. So it could be seeing it move to the downside, break through that support, could be coming to this area here. But again, prices right now just kind of hugging that resistance. It is looking like it is getting rejected. If I jump to the hourly, you can see very nice rejection down the hourly chart. So just going to see how it plays out. But right now, GPUSD is just moving sideways from the resistance to that support. So again, very unsure of where we could break to. But if you do break to the downside, could be seeing a nice move into that support there in the market. Yeah, that is true. We could be seeing some bigger movements now, because again, a lot of pairs looking like they could be breaking out their consolidation potentially. Again, a lot of the USD pairs again just been moving very unclear, especially like Euro USD, USD CAD as well. So it could be seeing some bigger moves here in the market for these pairs, and potentially seeing some longer moves and start to see some reversals as well, because a lot of these pairs have been on trends for the past few months now, and we're coming into that period where price could be reversing those trends and seeing price continue in the other direction a lot higher. So again, like UCCHF, that one is just breaking out through its consolidation here that has been in for the past few days now. And you can see we are looking very bullish here for UCCHF, just breaking through this resistance here and kind of just taking off to the upside there. So we are looking very bullish for that pair. And like I said, a break of that resistance will probably take us to 0.9, which is this area here. So I do think we're on our way to go and test that area of support. As you can see, really key level of support throughout here. I do think we are on our way up there for USDCHF. And again, hourly still looking very bullish, breaking through that previous resistance. Obviously, we're still very early on the day as well. So we could be seeing another wick potentially. But again, bias is still to the upside for this pair. And I do think we could be on our way to 0.9. So yeah, currently just in GBP/USD right now, looking for a swing to the downside. Currently just ranging, but again, just going to see how this pair gets on throughout the day and see if we can get another swing to the downside to go and test that support and hopefully see a break of that and see price come a lot lower. So yeah, only in that trade right now. If anyone wants me to look at any different pairs or any different markets or wants my opinion on anything, just put it down in the live chat. Or if you want me to take a look at any trades that you're in, or want some opinions on the trade, just drop it in the live chat and I'll make sure I'll get you some answers. But yeah, just gonna be seeing how GBP/USD gets on today and also taking a look at some other pairs as well. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at Euro JPY. Okay, so Euro JPY, we are looking quite bearish there. Then the market hourly, 4 hourly, all looking very bearish. I was probably expecting price to maybe move a little bit higher first for this pair. Come into that resistance up there, kind of give us a bit of a double top, or technically still is a double top, but again, not a perfect one, hasn't really tested that resistance there. But we are still looking bearish here for Euro JPY. Do you have some support not too far away? So again, if you could look to short the market now, probably not the best place because we are coming into that support, but overall we are looking bearish here and could be seeing maybe further retracement to the downside for Euro JPY potentially, because again you can see on the weekly coming back up to that same resistance. So long term could be seeing a push to the downside. 4 hourly still looking bearish here, but again I will be aware of that support because could be seeing another push higher first to go and test that level there potentially, just because again big impulsive candle could be retracing it to continue, but also it could be a big impulsive candle just to take people out the wrong side of the market, and then we could just see a big push to the downside again, retracing that move. But overall right now we are looking bearish for Euro JPY. We're back at the previous highs again, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were to see price come all the way back down to go and test this support area all the way down there around 125, or maybe even potentially break through that level there potentially. So yeah, probably wait for price to pull back first for Euro JPY. Maybe you can look to enter on the lower time frames potentially, but yeah, we are looking very bearish right now, as you can see on the hourly time frame, push to the downside. So yeah, could see that continue, but again probably not the best place to enter, as we are coming to this area of support where the market kind of just shot to the upside from. So it could be seeing a bit of an obstacle in the way there, but if you do break through that support, we could take off to the downside and see price come back all the way to the lows potentially, or even further. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look at NZD/USD first here. So yeah, NZD/USD, I was probably expecting price to kind of roll over to the downside, since we are kind of consolidating here a little bit, but you can see we are overly forming lower highs. We are failing to break through the support, however, but as you can see recently towards the end of last week, we had a big push to the upside here on the Friday chart, but we kind of failed to take out this previous level here and really actually failed to actually get to that level. And you can see we fell to the downside, kind of gap down to start the week off, push back up to the downside there, and now we are looking bearish here. So NZD/USD, it could be seeing a push lower to go and test this level here on the hourly time frame, key level of support. As you can see, we tested it a couple of times. I do think we'll probably see the momentum take us into that level of support, break through that support, probably see us come back to that support all the way down there. If you do hold of that area, could see another push back to the outside, since we are overly consolidating here in the market. But again, I'm probably favouring another push to the downside for this pair. If you do break through the support, could be seeing price coming to this really key level of support again for the third time, and a break of that support will take us all the way to this level here around 0.7. So we do have a lot of downside potential here for NZD/USD, and again, I do think we could be seeing that coming to the downside there. If you do hold this support, however, we might see price push back up again, but as you can see, we're failing to really push higher. You can see that kind of is like a lower high there, of that high there, so it does look like we're running out of steam. Might see a bit of reaction at that support, but I do think we can take through that level and see price come and break through that support. But overall, again, nothing is completely true in this market, because again, the overall direction is kind of just sideways really. So so again, it's hard to justify that, but again, I probably am favouring more of a move to the downside rather than back up again. And GPNZD for this one, again, I'm favouring price news to the upside. Looking at the daily chart, I do think we could be seeing another push higher. You can see here we kind of had a bit of a double bottom here on the daily. Price tested this once, tested it twice, got rejected. Kind of gave us some higher highs here in the market as well. Breaking through this key level of resistance here in the market, broke through it, created some higher highs, retested their support. Saw a very strong bullish candle there a few days ago. Price right now is kind of just moving sideways there on the daily right now, but I do think we could be just getting ready for a bigger move higher. However, might see a push to the downside first for GPNZD. Might be wrong there, but we could be seeing push to the downside first, back to go and test the support area here potentially, and then see the move to the upside. Obviously, we could just take off to the upside and price could just break through this kind of short-term trend line that I've got here in the market. So if you do break through that trend line, could be seeing price kind of just taking off to the upside, back to this resistance, and again breaking through that resistance, probably start to see GPNZD become well, seeing price take off to the upside really, and start to see a bit of a bullish trend for this market. But right now we're kind of testing that trend line first. Could be seeing move to the downside before we see GPNZD move higher in that market there. Again, overall bias is probably still to the upside for GPNZD. Using the daily chart there, because we are forming some higher highs there, failing to really take to the downside, holding this support area here. So again, could be seeing price take some higher highs, breaking through that, and see another push to the upside for GPNZD. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look at silver. Okay, so silver, again, we had a big gap to the upside. Price is looking very bullish there. Big push to the upside, right back at the previous highs here. As you can see, if I kind of lined up that wick, we kind of tested it, formed some new highs there for the wick. But we are pulling back to the downside. You can see on the hourly showing some rejection signs there. 4-hourly, again, not much yet, but the current 4-hourly candle hasn't closed yet. But it is currently pulling back there. So yeah, could be seeing some movement back to the downside again. Could be seeing price potentially go and fill that gap. Higher time frames again, weekly back at the same resistance. So yeah, again monthly, again overall price I think for silver is probably still to the upside, but again we're at a very strong area of prior resistance where price got rejected and came all the way back down to this support here on the weekly chart. So you can see a very big push to the downside from a weekly point of view. So I do think since we already wicked higher, taking out some stop losses that could have been just above that previous wick there, we could be seeing another push to the downside again, at least to retrace that impulsive move. So yeah, could be seeing another move back to the downside. I'm probably favoring that rather than price continuing higher first. Again, really key level of prior resistance here also lines up with that gap there in the market. So I do think we could be coming back to retest that level around 27,500, 600. So yeah, I am expecting probably a push to the downside for silver. Of course, we don't really have that much confirmation yet on the hourly chart. We do have some rejection there, some indecision, but no real confirmations. But again, I probably am favoring price to push down to the downside after wicking just above that previous swing high there on the daily. So could be seeing a move to the downside, probably even further potentially, because again, a very strong level, even on the weekly charts, a very strong level there. So again, probably not the best opportunity to buy into that. Overall, we might see another push higher, but again, I don't know if it will be very long lived. It might just be a brief push before we could be seeing some strong bearish candles coming back down to go and test that support down there. But yeah, I can just probably wait for the confirmations, but probably am favouring a move to the downside rather than back up again. But of course, for more long term, I do think we probably will be going to the upside. But for now, I do think some retracement is due for silver, definitely on the hourly time frame. And of course, 4-hourly is not quite ready yet, but could be seeing another movement to the downside for silver. So again, hope that analysis has helped. Okay, so we can take a quick look at Euro GBP. Okay, so yeah, Euro GBP, we broke for that support this morning. Kind of just felt we gapped down, price fell to the downside, very strong move. Again, I think the long move is still to the upside for this pair. Could be coming back to this resistance up here, or maybe even further. We do have this former support term resistance price. Might want to go retest that area before falling back down. So we could be seeing a push to the upside for this pair. 15-minute, we did see price. Looks like we've got a bit of a double bottom there. Tested it once. Nice push to the upside. Came back down, got rejected it from again a second time. And we are pushing back up again. So bit of a double bottom there, but again, price probably still needs to break this key level of resistance for us to really take off here on the 15. If you do get above that, again, could be seeing a longer push to the upside. And at that point, the hourly and the 4 hourly might be coming into tune as well. You can see the hourly time frame there. Nice engulfing candlestick. A little bit of wicks into that area. You can see from the 15-minute time frame why we do have those wicks. So again, a little bit of indecision in that area. But again, if you get above those wicks there on the hourly, and we can start maybe getting an engulfing candle there on the 4 hourly chart. And yeah, it does have some nice upside potential. And again, on the 15-minute there, again, your stop loss will be less pips as well. So again, probably won't be holding on that trade for too long. Because again, if we take out that low there on the 15-minute, could be seeing another push to the downside before we do get that bigger push to the upside. But yeah, I do agree, could be seeing a nice push to the upside for this pair. But yeah, on the 15-minute, just got to take out that level of resistance for us to really get going to the upside for that pair. But yeah, it's coming to the end of the live stream, so I'm going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we looked at earlier and see how they've got on as well. So AUSD, I was saying, as long as we stay below this resistance, could be seeing another move back lower. As you can see, a little bit of indecision there on the hourly time frame. We did see some rejection there on the 4 hourly, but again, this area of the market here is quite choppy. We did see a strong push to the upside towards the end of last week. Then we gapped down, pushed back up, retested that resistance and fell down a little bit. But again, a little bit of consolidation now. But I do think as long as we stay below there, we could be seeing a move into this support here for AUSD. Get above that area, we could be seeing another push up to the upside, create another lower high. As you can see for AU, be making these lower highs here in the market. Could be seeing another lower high and then another push back to the downside. Euro USD, still looking bearish here. Could be seeing price continue to the downside. About to go and test this support down there. Almost kind of wicked into it already, as you can see on the hourly chart. Big push to the downside, pulling back up again, retracing. So again, we sort of have wicked into that area. Could be seeing some retrace first, but I do think Euro USD could still be on its way back down after that very strong bearish candle at 10 a.m. USD CAD, again, expecting a move to the upside for this pair. Again, we did see price come crashing down towards the end of last week. Very strong bearish candle. But I think this is again just some retrace for us to continue higher, and we can go and test this 1.29 level up there as resistance. So again, bias is still to the upside for this pair. Hourly, very strong push to the upside to start the morning off. Right now, a little bit moving sideways because we do have that resistance just above us. Our breakthrough, it could be seeing price continuing to the upside, back to the highs there. USD CHF looking very bullish here. Again, we're going to be expecting some retracement for this pair, but I think we could still be to the upside for USD, still on our way to the upside for USD CHF. Expecting a move to that 0.9 level here. Key level support there on the daily. I think we are probably going to go and test that area. USD JPY is still looking bullish here, but again, we are testing that previous resistance. You can see on the hourly, we test that resistance, losing a little bit of momentum. Could be seeing another push downside. At that point, could be getting a bit of a double top there on the hourly time frame, and maybe potentially see a bit of retracement after this big push to the upside we had recently. However, from a daily point of view, we still do have room to the upside to go and test this level up there, which I do think we're probably gonna go hit. But again, we might see some retracement first before we do go and test that level. And GPUSD, current trading I'm in, this trade here, kind of just moving sideways now. I'm just going to see how it plays out really at this point. Again, do have the resistance up there, got the support there, price is just ranging. Break through the resistance, we'll look to close the trade there. But if we do get another leg to the downside, break through the support, could be seeing it move into that area. But again, right now we're consolidating, so I'm just going to see how it plays out. And then if you do get a break to the downside, look to target this low here in the market, and if you break through that, could be seeing this low here potentially, but right now we are still consolidating right now for GPUSD, so just going to see how that plays out and probably update you guys again tomorrow. So that is the end of the live stream. Thank you for joining me and watching the live stream. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you found it useful. But thanks again. I will be on another live stream for tomorrow at 10 a.m. So make sure you're there to check that out. But thanks again for watching, and until the next one, I will see you guys later.